He thought he was free. He thought he had outsmarted the system, vanished into thin air. For 20 long years, Daniel Andreas San Diego, a name whispered in the darkest corners of law enforcement, lived as a phantom. He was a ghost story, a cautionary tale whispered among those tasked with keeping our nation safe. But even ghosts cast shadows, and even the most cunning fugitive can't outrun justice forever. In the tranquil hills of North Wales, far from the scene of his crimes, the walls finally closed in. San Diego's reign of anonymity was over. The man who had haunted the dreams of law enforcement for 2 decades was finally caught. His capture sent shockwaves across the globe. For those who had tirelessly pursued him, it was a victory hard-earned and long-awaited. For those who had been forever scarred by his actions, it was a flicker of hope, a promise that justice, though delayed, was not denied. San Diego's story is a stark reminder that the pursuit of justice knows no timeline, no geographical boundaries. It's a testament to the unwavering dedication of law enforcement who work tirelessly year after year to hold the guilty accountable no matter how long it takes. Daniel Andreas San Diego wasn't your typical fugitive. He wasn't driven by greed or power, but by a radical ideology that twisted compassion into violence. A staunch vegan and animal rights activist, San Diego believed that any act of violence against animals was justified even if it meant targeting his fellow human beings. He saw himself as a warrior, a righteous avenger waging war on behalf of the voiceless and the vulnerable. His commitment to this cause ran deep, consuming his every thought and action. He renounced the comforts of a normal life, embracing a life on the fringes of society. He shunned material possessions, severed ties with his family, and dedicated himself entirely to his twisted crusade. In his mind, he was a soldier fighting an oppressive system, a lone wolf battling an uncaring world. But his fight for animal rights was a dangerous delusion, one that would lead him down a dark and destructive path. The year was 2003. San Francisco, a city known for its vibrant culture and progressive values, became the stage for San Diego's reign of terror. On 2 separate occasions, the tranquility of the Bay Area was shattered by the deafening roar of explosions. The targets buildings associated with a biotechnology firm that San Diego believed was involved in animal testing. The first bomb, a crude but powerful device, detonated outside the company's headquarters, sending shockwaves through the city. The second, even more potent, exploded weeks later at a researcher's home, thankfully causing no casualties. The attacks sent a chill down the spines of San Franciscans, leaving them grappling with a chilling realization. Their city, a beacon of peace and tolerance, was now vulnerable to the scourge of terrorism. In the aftermath of the bombings, the FBI launched a massive manhunt. San Diego, quickly identified as the prime suspect, became the target of an intense nationwide search. But he seemed to have vanished into thin air. He was gone, swallowed whole by the vastness of America, leaving behind a trail of fear and unanswered questions. He became a ghost, a whisper in the wind. He was a master of disguise, a chameleon who could blend into any crowd. He severed all ties to his past, abandoning his former life and adopting a new identity. He lived off the grid, moving from town to town, always one step ahead of the law. Years turned into a decade, then 2, and still, San Diego remained elusive, a phantom haunting the corridors of law enforcement. For 2 decades, San Diego lived a life in the shadows, always looking over his shoulder, always fearing the knock on the door that would signal the end of his run. He had successfully evaded capture in his home country, but his luck was about to run out, thousands of miles away from American soil. In a twist of fate, it was a tip from an unexpected source that would finally bring him to justice. British authorities, acting on information received from the FBI, apprehended San Diego in a quiet village in North Wales. He had been living under an assumed identity, blending into the local community, trying to outrun his past. But the past, as it always does, had a way of catching up. His capture marked the end of a long and frustrating chapter for law enforcement and a victory for justice, delayed but not denied. The capture of Daniel Andreas San Diego sent ripples of relief across the globe, but the story didn't end with his arrest. The scars of his crimes, both visible and unseen, continued to run deep. The bombings in San Francisco had left an indelible mark on the city, a haunting reminder of the vulnerability of even the most peaceful corners of the world. Beyond the physical damage, there was the psychological toll, the invisible wounds that lingered long after the debris had been cleared, the fear, the anxiety, the sense of vulnerability that permeated the lives of those who had witnessed firsthand the chaos and destruction he had unleashed. San Diego's actions were a stark reminder that terrorism doesn't just target buildings and infrastructure, it targets the very fabric of society, leaving behind a legacy of fear, mistrust, and division. With San Diego finally behind bars, the long process of seeking justice began. He faced a litany of charges, including multiple counts of terrorism-related offenses, each carrying a hefty sentence. His trial, a media spectacle, served as a stark reminder of the consequences of extremism and the importance of safeguarding our freedoms from those who seek to undermine them. The capture of Daniel Andreas San Diego was a victory for justice, a testament to the unwavering dedication of law enforcement agencies across the globe, but it also served as a chilling reminder of the ongoing threat of domestic terrorism and the importance of remaining vigilant against those who seek to divide and destroy. As we reflect on his case, we are left to ponder the true cost of freedom and the responsibility we all share in protecting the values that bind us together as a nation.